I'll call the regular meeting of council to order Thursday, September 16th, 2021, 6 p.m. Council chambers and Zoom access. All participants are to be informed that this meeting is being recorded and the attendees will be listed verbally.
I'm going to get council to introduce themselves so I don't screw it up.
Darren.
Darren Schultz. Darren Pearson.
Rosella Peterman.
Penny Shantz.
Teresa Fuller. And I have connected by Zoom. I have Shelley Boileau, Kyle McIntosh, Kevin Sabo with the Bashaw Star, Stu Sackeld with the East Central Review, and Jeff Olson with Service Line Warranties of Canada. Thank you for the prompting.
No problem.
I'll hand the floor over to you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Do we have any additions to the agenda?
I have a couple. I have 7.4 Truth and Reconciliation Stat, just as a brief information piece, and 7.5 BDSS CCAN request, which I've provided a copy of the letter.
Okay. All right. Thank you. May I have the agenda approval, please?
I'll do that.
Okay, Darren, all in favor? Carried. Now we have just a thought. Teresa, did you mark down that Rob McDonald is absent with notice?
Okay, thank you for the reminder. So yes, we do have Rob absent with notice. Thank you.
No problem. The minutes of the September 2nd meeting.
Good by me.
I know administratively, I think we noticed just that I put the wrong date on section 11, where it should have actually remained September 16th, 2021 at 6
yeah.
p.m. Instead, I've updated it with October dates already.
Yeah.
So,
We're getting a little ready to move on with the.
well, just checking to see if you guys are sharp, you know.
Good, good. Okay, so with that correction.
I'll approve the minutes.
Okay.
With that correction.
Thank you, Rosella. All right. And now we will move on to our delegation, Jeff, Service Line Warranties of Canada. And welcome to our council meeting, Jeff. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mayor and Council. On behalf of Service Line Warranties of Canada, very appreciative of you allowing us a chance to be a delegate here at tonight's meeting. And I'll try to keep it brief. I did notice I was going through the council packet, and I believe Teresa had attached the original letter that we sent out to the town, and then I followed that up with really just a brief brochure, but which does kind of highlight the majority of the items I'll cover this evening. But I thought maybe I could step back just a hair and kind of give you a 30,000 foot view of who we are and why we're reaching out to municipalities across Canada. Service Line Warranties Canada is our parent company is a company called HomeServe. Service Line Warranties Canada came in fruition around 2012. But our parent company is a company called HomeServe, as I mentioned. That originated in the UK back in 1993, and it started with a partnership between us as a service provider and a water utility in Walsall, England. And from there, it has grown to just under a $3 billion market cap valuation. Again, we started in the UK, but then shortly thereafter moved into France, Spain, Italy, US, Canada, and most recently Japan. And what we do is we try to offer homeowners protection for items that wouldn't necessarily be covered in a typical homeowner policy. So this would be things like what we're going to talk about here: service lines, water lines, sewer laterals, interior plumbing and drainage, but also Home Service, the parent company, does offer warranty/service contracts for electric lines, gas lines, HVAC units, appliances, you name it. Basically, any item in a home that wouldn't typically be covered under a homeowner policy is where we step in. And what we do is we sell service contracts for that. So this is not an insurance policy, it's a service contract, much like you'd get if you bought a piece of electronics and you wanted an additional warranty for that. That's what this is. It's a service contract. So the way it works for a homeowner is there's really nothing for them to do in terms of a long-term commitment. Basically, if they want one of our service contracts, it's usually a monthly or annually subscription. They can set up the payments however they want. And when and if they have an issue with the things that we're covering, i.e. here, water line, sewer line, interior plumbing, we provide a local contractor, not our own, but someone who's based in the town that we partnered with, to come out and make the repair and then send the bill to us. So from a homeowner standpoint, what we're trying to do is provide peace of mind for these items in case they did have an issue with them. You just buy a service contract and those issues become ours. And again, it's not a insurance policy in the sense that it does not have a deductible. It does not require the homeowner to go find a contractor and then figure out how to get the repair done and then figure out how to get paid from the insurance company. It's all done the back end by us. And the way we do that, though, is through partnerships with municipalities. And the reason why we do that is the only way we kind of offer this program to homeowners is through a direct mail piece. And as you can imagine, if we send a direct mail piece out to every homeowner across Canada and it had our logo on it, or say our strategic partner in Alberta, Rural Municipalities of Alberta, RMA, we are also partnered with the FCM as a corporate partner, and we're partners with Association of Municipalities of Ontario. But at any rate, the homeowner does not know who those entities are. They don't know who we are, and they in most cases wouldn't know who those municipal authorities are either. So what ends up happening is we spend, as you can imagine, quite a bit of money sending out direct mail pieces to folks that don't recognize who we are, and it ends up being junk mail. So what we found is the way to actually do this the best, to provide the lowest cost with the best coverage, is to partner with municipalities in a affinity marketing type arrangement. So that's effectively what this is. We partner with the municipality, and the partnership, really, the extent of it is just the ability for us to use the municipal logo on an envelope and the actual mail piece that we send to each and every homeowner. And that way we get a decent open rate. The homeowner knows that we're legitimate, that it's a vetted service, and therefore we get a fair amount of people that would like to enroll and protect themselves. And then also we can, convince contractors to want to work with us just from a volume standpoint. So that's really what the partnership is. We started this, as I mentioned, back in '93, and in the UK, but grew it from there. The Canadian market, I actually started it in 2012, as I mentioned, in Ontario specifically. And basically, I went around the Toronto area and met with most of the large cities around there, Toronto, some of the regions around the GTA, City of Hamilton, City of Ottawa, City of Windsor, Kingston Utilities, and some of those. At any rate, the City of Hamilton kind of took a shine to it and said, we do have quite a few folks that have issues on these service lines. There's really no good solution from our standpoint as a municipality because it's obviously on private property. We can't really even suggest a contractor for them. They really don't have much of an option other than to call us. We typically send out a public works truck, and if we find out that the issue's on private property, all we can really tell them is, you got to get a contractor to come in and diagnose the issue. And obviously, as we all know, these are buried lines, so they can be very expensive and costly. And of course, it's a headache for a homeowner to try to even navigate through that. So the City of Hamilton decided that they wanted to pursue it, and they started with a tender, and that came out in 2012. We obviously won that tender. And then from there, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, one of the board members was actually the city manager for the City of Mississauga. And she had said, I think that, our organization would really like to help you get this out to the 444 municipalities across Ontario. And you probably can't go see all these folks, but we see them all the time. What would you think about us basically piggybacking off of the Hamilton RFP? In which case we said that'd be fantastic. That was our hope. Hamilton did set up that tender as an interlocal agreement so that other municipalities could piggyback off of it. And from there, that then launched the program with the city of Hamilton in the fall of 2014 is when the first mailings went out. And we have since grown this now to 67 partners in Ontario, with our goal to now move westward and try to bring this service to municipalities in Alberta and British Columbia and Saskatchewan and Manitoba. So we started obviously in Ontario really because the population base is high and we, was pretty target rich area. But from there, as I mentioned, we've grown it to a point where we've got, I think, 67 partners now. Those do include the city of Ottawa, the city of Hamilton, obviously, the region of Peel. There's about 400 and some thousand homeowners in the region of Peel. Region of Peel, if you're not familiar, would be Mississauga and Brampton. Another smaller town is in there. We just passed through a committee meeting for the region of Durham, which would be east of the city of Toronto. The city of Toronto is actually working on a staff report as well at the moment that is hopefully going to committee in October here. But that's basically, what we did is kind of build it from there. And then our association with the Association of Municipalities of Ontario is who introduced us to RMA, which, as you probably know, used to be AAMDC. That's when we got involved with them. And so that's what we're trying to do, is bring this service across Canada, not just focused on Ontario. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Now, obviously, there's a lot more information on that little pamphlet that I sent. Some of those are pretty interesting numbers to take a look at. If you look at the last page of that, and this one's actually a little dated, so it says 40 municipalities in Ontario. Well, obviously, we've grown it since this brochure was published. But those other numbers are fairly accurate. But it gives you some sense of how valuable this program is. We have done thousands of claims already in Ontario. We have saved homeowners, over $5 million in those repairs. As you can imagine, again, those are expensive. Typically, at a program like this, we get a lot of seniors and fixed income, folks with older homes, folks that may have had an issue with a service line in the past, or maybe just folks that are risk averse and would like to mitigate this risk for basically the cost of a lunch. To give you some sense of the cost of the homeowner for this, is about $6 a month to cover your water line. And that does include frozen water line thawing. And then about $8 for the sewer lateral. And then around $8.75 for interior plumbing and drainage. So that would be, obviously all of the pipe inside the home. Should you get, say, a clogged sink, we send out a plumber to go clean out the clog and get you flowing again. And then again, the bill goes to us. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. You can see here too, obviously we've done, close to $400 million in repairs in North America. I can broaden it a little bit too. In the U.S., we've got about, and I'm American, you probably saw that from my phone number calling in. But in the U.S., we do have over 900 municipalities participating in this. And it really varies from the smallest of, we've got partners in Wyoming that are similar in size to your municipality, all the way to Los Angeles and San Diego, our partners. So that's really what this program is. I think for your purposes, we just wanted to bring it to your attention that it does exist, that we are fully ready to go and operate in Alberta. And should this be a program that you think might be valuable to your residents, we're more than happy to roll it out in partnership with you. I think from here that the next steps, past your discussions internally as to whether this may be of value and you want to pursue it, I've got a marketing agreement that I can show you. I also want to let you know too that obviously the municipality, the town of Bashaw, is indemnified through this. There's really nothing the town is offering for us other than a single liaison that approves the letter that we send out, and then the use of your seal so that, or your logo, so that when we do send these mail pieces out to every one of your homeowners, that, you know, we get a decent amount of folks that open it up. So that's really what it is in a nutshell. It's not, you know, it's not super complicated, but I can tell you the folks that are in the program just rave about it. I'm talking about the homeowners. We've got over 98.5% customer satisfaction rate from it. And you can imagine why. If you had, you know, a backed up sewer line or a you know, belly in there or something, and you had to have that dug up and replaced, you're talking thousands of dollars, and for, you know, about $8 a month with no long-term commitment, you can, you know, cancel at any point. You have coverage against that. So I think with that, I don't know that there's a whole much more I can inform you on other than what I've already stated. So if you do have any questions, though, please feel free to let me know.
Thank you, Jeff. I don't know if anybody on council has a question.
What did you say the cost was gonna be
To the homeowner?
to the homeowner?
Yes, sure. The homeowner cost. So we have 3 products that we're operating when we partner with water municipalities, and that would be the water service line that covers from the property line into where it daylights into the home. That's $6 a month. The sewer lateral coverage, we can customize that because we do have some partners. For instance, Windsor, Ontario has us covering from where the sewer pipe daylights in underneath the slab in the home to where it connects to the main. So we're actually covering pipe that's in the right of way. So we have a slightly higher cost in the city of Windsor, but standard, we're typically covering with the other 66 or so partners that we've got in Ontario. We're covering from where it daylights into the home to the property line. On the sewer lateral, and that's $8 per month. And then your interior plumbing and drainage is around $8.75 per month.
Okay.
Also, you may have seen in here, I'm sorry, I did forget one thing. We do have a royalty piece to this. So we recognize that, you know, the city may feel like, well, we're risking a little bit our name and reputation by loaning it to a service provider. So we do have a royalty component with this program. It's around 5% of the gross revenues that come in. I can tell you that with our partners in Ontario, the vast majority do take that royalty. Typically, they route that into low-income assistance funds. I know the city of Hamilton on their website talks about, you know, we to offset, you know, water rate increases and so forth. But we also have had some partners, for instance, the region of Peel, which is the one that has it's our largest partner in Ontario. It said in lieu of that royalty, can you just discount the premiums to our residents by that amount? So we can do that as well. So the royalty is optional. Obviously, the program to the homeowner is optional. Again, I mentioned there's no long-term contract for them to sign. Basically, we send out a letter. It's got our logo on it, your logo on it. It goes to every single resident. We don't target market. Explains to them, because many folks don't actually know that they have responsibility for you know, the line once it's on the private side. That, you know, what this can you know, where the line starts and stops, what it can cost, what kind of issues can come up that can cause problems on these lines. And then it comes obviously with some pictorials and stuff like that to kind of visually explain it. And then there's a business reply card. There's also, you know, a website that they can go into our contact center or call an 800 number. But they enroll, and as soon as they enroll, obviously we don't do any pre-inspection or anything like that. From there, they're eligible to make a claim, and it does include up to replacement. So we're going to try to fix it. We're not trying to, you know, tear up everybody's lawn or anything like that. So we're going to try to fix it. We'll try to grind out, you know, root intrusion or something like that, or thaw out a frozen water line. But if for some reason we are unable to fix it, it does include replacement cost. And again, I did mention it's not an insurance product. I wanted to add one little piece of color to that, though. There are some insurance companies that do have riders for service lines. You just have to kind of read the fine print on that. They are a insurance product, meaning they do have deductibles, meaning they are regulated by insurance regulators and so forth. And then the homeowner has the responsibility of getting it fixed and then asking for reimbursement. That's not what this is. This is all handled, the back end's all handled by us. So we send out the mailings at our cost. Before we send that, we reach out to the municipality and say, okay, this is what the letter's going to look like. If you want to make some modifications to it, let us know. We will not send anything to any resident without your prior written approval. But once that approval goes into place, we send those letters out, and then the calls come into us. We do all of the enrollment, all of the billing. And then once the claims process starts, or actually I should say, while we're doing all that, we contact local contractors and let them know that this program's available. We'd love to have them in our network of contractors, as long as they're licensed, bonded, insured, pulling permits, doing all the stuff that the city would want and we would want. Happy to have them in the program. And then if a claim comes in, we dispatch a local contractor who's in the network. They do a diagnostic, let us know what the issue is. We authorize the repair and or replace, and then the contractor bills us and we pay the contractor directly. Homeowner is not involved other than making an initial call to make the claim.
So Jeff, I have a couple questions. It's Teresa. Do you have any current municipalities in Alberta participating?
No, it's a great question. Not so far. We are have been in about a year-long discussion with City of Calgary. I know they've got an election coming up. They're kind of wanting to see what Toronto's planning on doing and maybe take a look at their staff report that they've got coming out. But so we've been trying to kind of work with Calgary. We do have this program in partnership with EPCOR. Are you familiar with that utility?
Yeah.
Out of Edmonton?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we partnered with Edmonton years ago. That's probably 2012. And it's a little bit different affinity partnership with us. We do partner with utilities, but it usually are municipal partners. We get a little bit better affinity with the homeowner, and I think that's obvious, right? I mean, you get a bill from your utility company, may not have the most favorable opinion of your utility. Most people love their town, and that's why they live there. So, but to answer your question, the only partner we currently have in Alberta is that EPCOR partnership. And this letter that you got was because we're now trying to expand. So no, we just have the one with EPCOR.
Okay, and then I guess my next question is we have a variety of situations where some could be potentially service line issues and some could be potentially town infrastructure issues. How is that dealt with on your side, or like from the service line warranty? How do you guys approach and deal with that?
Well, so that's another great question. Now I should outline this a little bit, more in detail. So to be clear, this would be for a private service line, right? Where as soon as it turns into the public infrastructure, we're not covering the public side.
Okay.
We also don't offer this for wells or septic tanks or leach fields or anything like that. So this would be for, an actual service line that's connected to municipal infrastructure. But in terms of if you're asking, okay, so you send out somebody calls you, a resident calls you and they don't have flow. Typically they would call utility, obviously, right? And then you're going to go out there, and I would imagine you do a diagnostic at that point. Do you snake the line, or do you?
Basically what happens is that we kind of have a whole collection of issues going on where some situation it hasn't been evaluated concisely, or we also just tend to have a culture of where residents experience a blockage of some shape or form, whether it be a frozen water line or a blocked sewer line. And because there is no local plumber, or in the past, the local plumber only clears it to a certain distance. And so we have purchased equipment and augured and whatnot, but we have a situation where everyone seems to call and think it's a town issue to address. And so we have this whole culture of, residents calling and expecting Public Works to show up instantaneously to address their blockages or freezing or whichever, where there's a whole combination of issues going on. Some, yes, are definitely service line, and then some, haven't, or could be mainline related, right? And so we've kind of got a collection of locations where we just need to go through and evaluate them, but because, well, Public Works in the field often don't want to have to deal with conflict with residents saying, no, I want you to pay for this, right? So it's
Right.
a pretty challenging situation. So I guess what I'm kind of hearing you say is that if someone signs up for this program, they'll do an evaluation, and through that evaluation on site, then they can determine whether it is a service line issue or a main line issue that would be the responsibility of the town.
That's correct. Now, one of the other things that, when we send these letters out, and I could say it's probably one of the biggest drivers of the partners that we've signed on so far is this very thing, right? They want it clear to their residents that, look, this is where our pipe stops and yours starts. And that is actually your responsibility. And here's what it can cost. So when we send this letter out, it does act as a public service announcement at our cost. And that's why, we have quite a bit of involvement with our municipal partners to kind of craft the message. But that's one of the first things they wanted to address was, we need everybody to know what's theirs and their responsibility and what ours and our responsibility is. So we're happy that you're even if you didn't have a warranty behind it, just the fact that you're willing to spend a couple bucks, per resident per mailing. And you can imagine, like, in the place of Peel, we're sending out 400,000 pieces of, mail with Canadian Post 2 or 3 times a year. It's a pretty expensive upfront cost for us.
Yeah.
But it does educate all of the homeowners that this is yours and this is your responsibility and here's what it can cost. But we're not just throwing that on you without a remedy. Here's a service provider that's been in business since 1993. They're a $3 billion company. They're vetted. They're credible. They're going to do what they say they're going to do. So the letter does act to kind of maybe help you out there. At least we could be a partner with you in educating your residents, at least from here forward. Now I can tell you, when it first rolls out, what you end up getting are some calls that come in and say, is this legitimate? Why is the municipality partnering with somebody to do this, and so on and so forth. But that does die down considerably, and we get a ton of word of mouth on this, as you can imagine. If a neighbor, is getting a line, replaced and they paid a few bucks for it, they're pretty quick to tell their neighbors, you ought to consider this thing you got in the mail here. It's pretty good coverage.
Great.
But you're correct. Yeah, we would send a technician. Now, if you don't have any local plumbers there, when I say we try to get a local plumber, that's all dependent on where the plumbers are, right? So if we have to, because you're very small, if we spread that out to, a certain area to bring somebody in. But the reality is, what would a homeowner be able to do anyway, right? They're in this bind where if there's no plumber there, they're going to have to call someone to come in from out of town to do the work. It's probably easier for us to do that and facilitate that whole thing than it is for the homeowner.
Yeah, well, and that certainly would be helpful because your homeowner is also looking at added expense with mileage for anybody to come and address their issue too, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good. That makes sense. And it's Penny here, Jeff. You did answer the one question I had regarding the local companies, who contacts them, and I believe you stated that your company would contact the local plumber, whatever, to get them all lined up.
That's correct. Yeah, as soon as we have approval from a council to go into partnership with this, before we would ever send out a letter. So it's usually about a 60-day time frame between an approval and when we would actually roll the program out. And what that allows us to do is, one, get you the materials for, so you can review and approve. But two, and more importantly, even, or at least equally as important, is that's when we have our contractor repair management group reach out to these folks. And honestly, the contractors do like this because, again, they're dealing with a large company that pays on time. There's no haggling over prices. That there's not, having a deal directly with just, the bill goes to us, and then we authorize it, and then we pay them right away. And obviously it becomes more of a proactive, way to handle stuff, because if somebody knows that they've got an issue, but they actually have a warranty or service contract, well, then they're quicker to call, and therefore we bring a lot of business to these contractors. So the ones that we have in the network are quite happy to be in there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, I have a question, just to be sure that I understood this correctly, but we have, some older areas in town where there's a lot of problems with water lines freezing, just for an example. And we aren't sure if those water lines were buried deep enough when they were installed. So if you came in or your contractor came in and found out that was actually the case, I'm assuming their suggestion would be to pull the line out and put a new one in. Then the homeowner pays for that?
Well, yes, because one of the things it's not designed to do, I get this question a lot, like especially in these bigger partners we have in older parts of town, they've got some lead lines still in there. And I say, well, does this cover like lead line replacement? Well, it would if there's an incident on the lead line. It's not a proactive, for $6 a month, we're going to go take out all the lead lines and put copper lines in there. We would fold pretty quick. That we couldn't make that work financially. But if they did have an issue with it, we would replace it. So in the case where, if you're saying it wasn't installed correctly, in other words, it should have been much deeper, given your climate where you are, and if the line had to be replaced anyway, well, sure, we would, whatever the new bylaw or new code is, we would dig it and lay it down at a lower depth. What we don't want to do is keep going back to the same homes. So we'd like to fix it and be done with it, because they get a warranty with the repair anyway. So I hope that maybe answers the question. We do need an incident, I think, is the one key driver of this. Is there has to be a causal agent for you to make a claim. It's not just, well, I think my line's not buried deep enough and it's not frozen. Can you come give me a new line or dig it deeper? We can't do that.
Yeah,
No, I was thinking in terms of, when they experience freezing constantly throughout the winter, every time the temperature drops a little bit. But my question was then, that replacement of that line, is that an additional cost to the client over and above their monthly invoice?
Okay, I understood. Yeah, that's a great question. Because there are cap limits that we have per claim. I think it may mention that in the letter there. I think we've gone up to $8,000 on the water line and like $12,000 on the sewer lateral. So that would be your cap claim. Anything above and beyond that would be out of pocket. What I can tell you is, in the 5,000 or so repairs we've already done in Canada, and again, it's not in your neck of the woods, but over in Ontario, we have yet to have to bill a homeowner for costs in excess of the cap limits. And I think that's due to those cap limits weren't set by us. Those were actually determined by the city of Hamilton, and then even padded from there. So Hamilton gave us a number. I think you guys need to be right around here for cap limit to try to, eliminate out-of-pocket costs. And then we had the region appeal when they partnered, said, well, hold on, we've got some parts of town that I think it'll exceed that. Can you bump that up? And we just make a modest adjustment on the price. We don't need to do that here because that's all baked into these prices I gave you. But at any rate, we, just made some modifications to accommodate that.
Thank you. That
So anyway, the key is that, we don't want people to have to pay out of pocket. But your question, if I answered it directly, would be if it exceeded the claim cap amount, because it's a brand new line and it had to be trenched much deeper or something like that, we would cover that first chunk up to the cap limit, and then the rest would be out of pocket.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
any more questions?
Nope.
Okay,
Okay.
I believe we have the information that we need, Jeff. If we come up with some more questions later, you'll be hearing from Teresa.
Well, that'd be fantastic, and I do appreciate your time this evening, Teresa. I obviously I have your email. I would be more than happy to give you some peer contacts. Folks on the staff side that have done this and have basically seen every claim we've ever done. Maybe helpful to talk to some of them to kind of get a perspective from your side of the fence. But I'm happy to provide any additional information you need. So you just let me know, and I'll provide what I can.
Great.
Awesome. Well,
Thank
thank you. Thank you very much, Jeff. Take care, and
Yep.
you'll be hearing from us.
That sounds great. Thank you all very much. Have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So do you wish any more discussion, or shall we?
Do you want to accept it as
Information
information,
and-
or do you want to kind of discuss it and make a decision, or where you? Like, it's basically agreeing to partnership with them.
Yeah,
It sounds really good. My only question in my mind is, why would the city of Calgary be working with them for a year and not have it in place? Like,
Yeah,
is there something there that maybe, I don't know, it rings a bell that it sort of says like, let's just wait? I don't know.
Mm,
Because my thoughts really are when we look at the water issues in particular, it sounds like a great plan,
oh,
doesn't it?
absolutely, it does. It's like too good
well,
to be
and I
true.
guess from an operational standpoint, on a bad year, septic and stuff cost us minimally 13 grand, septic
Mhm,
and throwing out water lines.
Yes,
mhm.
And that doesn't really even account for any like staff time and response.
Mhm.
Cause golly, I know that one year
oh, it was wicked.
it was just nonstop. Public Works ended up all winter long responding to various line freezes, and
Yeah,
so then what happens is if we don't get them thawed out, then we connect them to their neighbor with a garden hose.
yes,
And so then not only are we purchasing garden hoses, but then we're also like taping the garden hoses or setting it up so that it doesn't freeze,
yeah,
compounded with having to leave it on a trickle so it doesn't freeze,
that's right.
so that people stay
Yeah.
in water. And then the other aspect is making sure that that's all documented so that we bill people accordingly for the water. So the person who's providing the water from their hose doesn't get overbilled, and the person who's receiving the water actually gets billed. So like it
That's-
snowballs really, really quickly.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
right now I'm dealing as well with a tree root growth problem on what appears to be a service line where we've had pictures and everything. But because we've continuously responded at this site for so many years, Murray has had conversations with the resident and saying, hey, you need to replace your service line. You need to address some issues here. It hasn't been done, and it sort of gets forgotten over time. So now we covered the cameraing and the after hours charge on it, and we're sending them the balance of the bill. And they're saying, this isn't my problem. This is not the service line, and
This is- yeah.
I'm not paying for this. You guys have been telling me all along, this is the town problem. And when they call, it's the town problem.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's the town problem a lot of times is because we don't have a plumber locally, and they're in a panic and they don't have resources.
Mhm.
Sure.
So then we step in to help because we don't want to look like the bad guy or not helpful. And I guess from a operational standpoint, I like the fact that there's an education component.
Mhm.
And then I also like the fact that, it's then starting the process of people understanding that service lines are homeowner issues.
Yeah.
And we can also start addressing freezing lines that we have to pay the extra water for trickle sites. We can identify through this process, are they service lines? Should we be covering the costs of, because on your trickle rates, they get a break on water all
No,
winter long.
absolutely. Yeah,
Where we have all that extra water going down the drain to keep their line unfrozen.
Yeah.
So like it's a compounding issue that
Yes,
is
it is.
costing us a lot of money.
right.
And in my opinion, having the education component and having options and having their peace of mind where you can pick up the phone and in 24 hours or less, have someone respond and know that it's not going to, or that we have to send staff in
Yeah.
to address an issue, and then we're not only are we wasting time with Public Works responding, but we're wasting my time too, where I'm going back and forth, where
Mhm.
I tell, you know, I tell the staff to bill one way, and then when the homeowner gets the bill,
Mhm.
they're calling me and
Mhm.
saying, you know, and then I've gotta go back to Public Works, have the conversation, go back to the, so you can see where this just gets
Mhm.
really cumbersome and very expensive.
And I'm looking at the price, and we've had Public Works come out and clear our sewer at one point. And while it wasn't painful, the price, a year of
Yeah,
of an $8 sewer coverage per month would have covered the cost of that.
sure.
Would have
And then
been
you're
less than the
not,
cost
then
of
you're not
that.
paying it in taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. That's another part.
So
Yeah.
like, I guess that's what kind of piqued my interest about this
Yeah.
program, and yeah, and I truly don't know how many people will bite upon it,
Mhm.
but at least, you know, it's a start on the education component. And the next parts is we are going to be revising the water bylaw, water and sewer bylaws.
Yeah.
You know, to start to introduce the fact that, you know, we're not always going to respond.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I think considering that really there is no cost to the town for this, we're not putting the town at any kind of a risk if we went ahead with it. And our residents can opt out at any time if they're not happy with the program.
It's basically up to them to call in and sign up if they choose to.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
So, and then like the interesting part is the loyalty piece. So
Yes.
we would get so then, you know, depending on what the loyalty piece looks like, you could deal with it either way, where, hey, there's your funds for when we do have to respond, or B, kick back those that discount back to those people who participate, because really they're taking responsibility for their own property
Mhm.
and thus keeping taxes and our functionality, you know, practical, right?
yeah, yes.
I guess the other question we didn't ask was, do they then provide the town with a list of those people who are participating? And if they pull back, do they let you know? Because if you were going to share that loyalty
Yeah.
portion to them, you'd have to be aware of who it was and
Mhm.
if they opted out all of a sudden.
Well, and not just, yeah, exactly, because, and then the town would have the list, just in case,
Mhm.
you know, I phoned and forgot that I was part of the
Well,
program.
I think internally, they would track who signs up.
Mhm.
And then with the loyalty list or the loyalty kickback, if we said, hey, no, kick it back to those participants, then they would administratively take care of that.
Oh,
And
okay.
do it
okay.
directly.
Sure.
So those individuals might experience either a lower premium or maybe a rebate or something.
Oh,
Sure.
So, yeah,
Oh, that
and
would.
I suspect
yeah.
that if we ask them for a list of participants, they may provide it, but I guess I'm not sure how that all plays
Yeah,
out.
that might come back under our FOIP. eh?
Yeah,
mhm. Oh, personally, I think it's a great idea.
Could we make a motion to go ahead with it?
if that
Tonight.
is council's
Yeah, Darren,
choice.
what are you thinking?
It doesn't cost us a thing,
Not a thing,
not a nickel.
not a nickel. We just put we review the letter that they plan to circulate
Okay.
and provide
They
them
mail it
with
out,
our logo on it and
And they mail
mail it
it?
out.
then there's no harm in it.
No, I don't think so. And then I was thinking when he was speaking about that and they were sending out letters, just a little bit of a off, it might not hurt if the town also sent out a little note letter with that, that
Mhm.
says, we know we've discussed, council has discussed, et cetera, and passed the motion and just so that they're
Mhm.
sure.
Well, that could go out in the water billing, actually,
Yeah,
couldn't it?
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah, we could include.
just a little bit
information
of an extra so
just
that
to
they're,
cross-reference
yeah.
and say, hey,
Mhm.
yeah.
yeah.
okay.
I mean, whatever you think, but I just.
Yeah, I
thought
think
it
that would be a good idea.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. Okay, so would someone like to make a motion then that we go forward with the proposal from Service Line Warranties?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Darren, already? All in favor? Carried.
So go forward with service line warranties, proposal partnership. Because it's kind of a partner.
I would like to use the word partnership because to me then that
Okay,
relays to the residents that
yeah, because they
Word.
call it partnerships.
Yeah. we're very aware
Okay.
that, yeah.
Service line warranties of Canada. Partnership.
Mhm.
And you can just get any which one you want, right? You don't need to get all three.
I think it's completely homeowner's choice.
Yeah, it sounded to me like it
Yeah,
was,
that's what I thought. That's why they've got it separated
yeah.
so that you can choose. Yeah,
Okay.
perfect. Alrighty, it's been carried.
The whole thing got so good, pretty shebang,
I do
It's
have
pushing
one,
$300.
yeah,
Mhm.
I have one more question though, Teresa, if you don't mind asking them, just for clarification.
Yep.
As soon as you sign up for the program, can you request a repair, or is there some waiting period before you actually can? Because I'm just thinking, I've got a problem with, say, my water line freezing, and I'll be there asking for it right away, and then tomorrow I sign off of it,
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Okay, so the question is when you sign up, can you request a repair, or is there a waiting period?
Yes, I think that would be a good
Okay.
question.
Okay, I can forward that to you.
Yeah, right, and
Okay, so Madam Chair, did you guys put it to vote already? I was busy recording the,
we can now.
okay,
I'm not sure.
my apologies.
No, it's fine.
I was,
Darren's made the motion.
focused on the motion.
Are we all in favor? Carried.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a contract that the homeowner would sign. Is there?
I anticipate so, and I can
Yeah.
certainly get a copy
Yeah.
of it if council
Mhm.
wanted to review it.
Yeah.
too.
Okay,
Okay,
very good. Thank
I think
you.
we still need to go ahead with it, but
I
I
do
think
too.
just having a bit more information,
Yeah,
what it's
because
gonna look
some
like.
of these people may be contacting the office
Yeah.
here to just say,
Yes,
hey, how does this work? eh?
Yeah,
I'm sure they will.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. All
Great.
right,
great.
moving right along. Bylaws. Oh, so sad. We do not have any.
Working on it.
Number
How
7.
hard?
Yeah, how hard.
Well, the assessment review bylaw, regional assessment review bylaw was really stimulating. Dare I say, reference the MGA several times throughout.
Well, I imagine you removed a lot of red tape out of it.
Yes.
Wow. If that's even possible. Yeah,
Oh, cute. Okay, under 7 new and unfinished business, 7.1, the Bashaw Fire Department Chief information forthcoming.
all right. Well, when I was generating the council package, I had no information, but I knew that we were having to also make a decision, so throughout this week, I've been having conversations, and I have confirmed that Dustin Hemmingson is willing to step up as chief.
Good.
And so collectively, it's gonna look a little different than chief in the past, where it's gonna be a bit of a collaborative effort between several firefighter members. plus, like, we're gonna be accessing Dennis Jones, cause he is a fire safety codes officer certified. And then it also sounds like we'll be kind of grooming as well, Alec Dubitz.
Mhm,
And so the chief, once appointed, will select a deputy chief.
mhm.
And as far as I'm aware, Dustin, from my conversations with him, if council approves him, he is intending to delegate Alex Dubitz as the deputy chief. And then I've also assured him that administratively, we're gonna be working closely with them to make sure that like firefighter files and some of the administrative heavy stuff is being addressed, so that we can, ensure a smooth transition, but a collaborative effort so that there's not a ton of obligation on the chief. Just because, well, it's a balance, and really for us to advertise it, and being the fire chief basically gets $250 a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
So it's still a very strong volunteer component,
Mhm,
but it is a very integral role, and so we just
absolutely.
want to support the transition, but also start the training for other individuals too,
Mhm,
so that it can help sustain the department.
good.
So with that, I guess I request that council consider passing a motion to approve Dustin Hemmingson as our new fire chief.
I'll do that.
Darren, all in favor? Carried. Very good.
Great, thank you.
Okay, tell us, Western Rural Connectivity Recent
I'm
Spectrum.
kind of confused on this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
Well, not you, but I just.
yeah, I
So they
know,
meant somebody else is coming into the internet, or what are they,
I was reading it and I thought, no.
what did they do your job in the first place? What position when you come in? Way I read it.
Yeah. I guess from what I interpreted, it sounds like with Quebec Corps buying this spectrum, 3800 megahertz spectrum, it could actually stall some of our internet installation in agricultural or overall within the province of Alberta and BC.
Really?
But that's TELUS, so what about the other ones? Like explore
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
is that stall for them too or no? I don't.
Well, this is telecommunications, so probably more along the lines of like cellular service, right?
What cellular?
Is there a
service?
difference between cellular?
Well, I
Is
don't know.
telecommunications all across the board, internet and
Because it all comes in one thing now, really, your phone is everything.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
But like on one hand, you have your service providers being Rogers, TELUS, Bell,
Yeah,
but then you also have your internet providers being ExploreNet and.
Yeah.
So, and I was kind of casually chatting with one of our internet providers about this situation. And he didn't seem to be too concerned, like his background is the internet field. And he didn't seem to be too concerned about it because he said that there was an expiry on it where if they didn't use it, then it would expire and go back to auction or something.
Oh.
But again, this is hearsay and I don't know that it for sure is true,
I
right?
don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
don't tell me.
yeah.
So along with this letter was a template to notify, some of our powers that be, being member of parliament or legislative assembly members,
Oh, okay.
to kind of forward any concerns and whatnot about it.
Mhm.
So I just kind of, initially, like I say, kind of created some panic in my mind.
Mhm. Well, yeah, it would be interesting to. I don't know how you'd get more information or.
Well,
Mm.
this is signed off by this Brian Bettis, so, I
Yeah.
presume he would be willing to
He should be able
spend some
to.
time and chat with us about
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Customer solutions delivery, yeah.
So
Might not be a bad idea.
do you want me to arrange to have him join us at a meeting? To kind of elaborate more or see if he can provide us more information on it,
Sure, if you want,
I
so
think.
don't-
I don't know if there's anything,
or do you just wanna accept it as information and see how this flies?
Yeah, I don't know, information, I think probably. I mean,
Mhm.
for now, but at least it's
the
on.
elections when,
The
On
federal,
Monday.
the
Yeah.
federal is Monday, yes.
Yeah, so who do you notify today, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm. And
True.
we all know what it's like when you get a new position, all of a sudden it takes a
Yeah.
while to,
It might just be lost in the shuffle anyway.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
kind of,
Mhm.
I almost picked that up from the letter though too, but it's been kind of lost a little bit, so I don't know. Maybe we should just accept it for
Accept it as-
information, but
Mhm.
sort of keep it kind of flagged in a way, or else if you hear of
Do
something.
you want me
that-
to include it as correspondence in the next package or?
Sure,
Okay.
oh, I shouldn't say that.
And I'll-
I don't know.
Sure,
I'll make
Darren.
Well, we still have at least one more council meeting,
Oh,
right?
yes.
You're not getting off the hook yet.
Yeah, but he might.
I would
be.
actually like to know what it's about.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not a happy Telus customer right now, so.
Yeah, and the letter is just confusing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because
it's
we
very
don't quite
confusing.
understand how that
Yeah.
all works.
So. do
Maybe
you
call
want me
this
to get
Brian
in
then,
touch with this
sure,
Brian and,
Yeah, we lost the phone number, so.
okay,
yeah,
so I guess I need a
I'll make the
motion.
motion to do that,
okay.
for you to do that.
Yes, all in favor? Carried. Yeah, very good. And then if he answers your question, then I guess you can just report back to council, or if you think it's better to have him do a
Well,
conversation
so
with
your
council.
motion is for me to contact Brian Bettis and kind of ask for more information about it.
Uh-huh,
Do you want a presentation or do you want me to just see
Well,
what?
he has a simple explanation for
Okay,
it
yeah,
for more information.
yeah. And if
in layman's terms.
and if you feel more comfortable having him do a presentation to council,
Yeah,
then we'll
you can
go for
ask
it.
him if he feels comfortable
Sure,
in the
sure.
presentation.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay,
Okay, very good. Okay, the town of Bashaw monthly statement. Well,
thank you for paying your taxes.
Gives you
Yes.
some money to spend.
it always looks nice on that time, doesn't
Yeah, it's
it?
always encouraging.
Thank you. So can I have someone, does anyone have any questions,
No, I'll accept it as
information?
info.
Thank you, Darren. All in favor? Carried. Okay, the Truth and Reconciliation stat holiday.
September 30th is scheduled to be the new statutory holiday announced by the federal government.
Mhm.
And it is the Truth and Reconciliation statutory holiday in honor of our Indigenous folks and the discovery of these children. And so anyway, what we were planning to do is provide staff with the day off, just simply because it's a federal holiday and
Mhm.
this is quite important. However, we were kind of planning to have staff work the 30th and provide them with an alternate day off being October 1st. Some of that is just from a practical standpoint, operationally, as we move forward with some of our internal operations, so,
Mhm. Well, it is a Thursday.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that was kind of our plan. Many of my partner municipalities are bringing it to their council members to approve or not to approve, but it's,
Okay,
I guess, I don't really see it much different than any of our other federally approved holidays.
Mhm.
So I guess I just presumed that it would be recognized and we would proceed as such. So
Absolutely.
I'm sharing it as information.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to accept it as information.
Okay, good. Thank you, Rosella. All in favor? Carried. Okay, 7.5. The BDSS request.
Yes, this was kind of a short notice request, and I guess I apologize. They were just really wanting to make a move on it. And so I guess for our attendance benefit, I'm gonna read it, and then that way the content will be available. And I guess if anyone would like to view a copy of it, my apologies not having it included in the package. But you can send me a quick email and I will arrange to get you a copy of the letter if you'd like. So it says, ladies and gentlemen, Bashaw District Support Services and its community partners are needing a stable rodent-proof container to store items such as imagination playground, signage, and program resources. We are able to purchase a new shipping container for the following prices. And this letter is from Bashaw District Support Services. 40 foot is 10,500 plus shipping. A 20 foot is 6,700 plus shipping. And as COVID has affected the availability of so many things, we are offered a white container right now, but are on the list for gray. We can also get dark blue. BDSS has 3 questions for council. We would like to place it on the perimeter of the daycare fence. May we have approval to do this? We are more than willing to determine an alternate location together that is suitable for our purposes and also meets the needs of the town. We only require a 20-foot container, but wonder if it would be better planning to share the container with the hall and get a 40-foot. We are not sure if it is necessary, but wanted to offer the opportunity to the partner if need be. Number 3, our imagination playground is currently outside until we find a solution. Is it possible to store it in the back room of the hall? It's in 2 rolling carts and very easy to move around. Due to the changing weather, we'd like to remedy this situation within the next 2 weeks. Please contact me at 780-372-4074 or by email at gcbulow@explorenet.com. to discuss this request further. Thank you for your consideration. We look forward to hearing from you soon. So when I initially viewed this request, I guess I would just like to point out to council that typically CCANs do require a development permit. However, this one being placed on town property, not sure if you and then when it's a resident situation, it's treated that they would pay, it's understood to be a temporary storage solution in a residential location, subject to annual renewal of $75, and it's every year. So it's typically encouraged to be a temporary storage solution.
Gotcha.
So with the location of the community hall, like I'm not entirely certain of what location they're thinking. Like I know they have that fence compound beside the playground.
Yeah.
And it's sort of indents on the back side. So I don't know if they're planning to put it in there or if it's going to be along the fence or
Right.
if, and in the past we have had a sea can over there kind of in the trees behind the hall, but council requested that to be moved so that it wasn't so unsightly quite some time ago. So that was moved over by our septic receiving station.
Quite along the fence to me is kind of unsightly.
Well, if it's along the south side
yeah.
and the sidewalk there,
Well, I'd have to be on the back side.
yeah, I'm thinking on the back
That's
side
what
where
I-
it sort
Yeah,
of
there's
jets
room on the
in.
other side. No, the room on the front or on the side, it's gotta be the back.
The back. Yeah, that would be better. Right.
So, like where the fence sort of juts in there and they'd have to be
And then they
careful.
can have it kind of by the back more lined up with that back door of the hall, that way they can get stuff in and out easy.
Yeah,
That'd be perfect.
so you'd prefer like along the fence on that backside
Oh, I think that's the only
versus
place I can go,
anywhere near the edge of the hall or anything?
'cause I don't think it'll fit between there and the roadway, really.
No, well, and it just, yeah,
And if they're not sure if the community center would need extra space for storage. If we said to keep it to a 20-foot one, it wouldn't be quite as much
As
in your
intrusive?
face. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's,
I don't know if the hall needs it. If they want the hall to split a C-cam, I don't think the hall has the money right now.
no. Yeah, that's a good point too, Darren. Right.
I noticed the last statement, the front is starting to get a little,
yeah,
Yeah.
nothing going on for 2 years.
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
Utility bills are still coming, so I don't think they have the funds for it.
No.
And I don't know if they really need it.
Well, and as far as I know, they don't have any additional items to store,
No,
cause like their tables and chairs are better off all inside and
Mhm.
being used.
Do they have anything in that other CCAP?
I don't know, I think they're just older tables.
Those old wooden ones.
I'm not even
probably.
sure, but as far as I know, play school and daycare might have some items still stored in that other
Oh,
they didn't make.
one too. I don't know.
Yeah, one of them. They make kind of like an obstacle gym out of a bunch of foam
oh,
things you put
yes.
together or something.
I think that's the
Like a
imagination
jamboree or
playground.
something.
Yeah, the imagination.
I think that's what
park
that
or
is,
whatever it
Darren.
is.
I think
Oh, so
that's,
that's where it is now.
Imagination
Oh,
playground. They used to put that in the CCAP.
okay.
yeah,
Well, yeah, so right now I would say a 20-footer.
yeah.
I don't see the hall needing it.
No, practically, I don't really think they can afford it. You're right.
Mhm.
So I think a 20-foot one, if it,
Is there
Co-
a particular color that would work better there that, I don't know either.
I
Well, I
don't
would
know
probably
that
go with,
white
what is the,
really
out of
matters.
the white or the light gray, blue would stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
I would think either the white or the light gray, but
Yeah,
yeah. If they can get it, that would
I
be
mean,
that,
that's up to them.
yeah.
I think the
So
blue is,
what would you like to have your motion?
Oh. That we would,
To approve the placement in conjunction with either Public Works or Administration?
mhm,
yeah,
sure.
and.
Yeah.
Try to go with a white. Would they say white is not available, but light gray?
they're offered a white container right now.
Motion to
I think
approve
that's the best.
placement of a 20-foot.
Yeah.
C-CAN unit. White,
I think white would probably be the least conspicuous color.
I think so.
I think so too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
to be located as per conversation with Public Works or Admin.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay,
So the motion will read, motion to approve placement of a 20-foot white C-CAN to be located as per. Sorry, I can't read my writing.
As per,
Yes.
As per location with Public Works or
Yeah.
Admin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I don't know, do you need a motion for number 3? I would just say yes. use
Who's
all.
making the motion?
I'll make that motion.
Rosella, okay,
Okay,
all in favor, carried, all
Okay.
right.
And I would say yes, they can use the hall to store their stuff for now until.
Mm,
Is that something the hall board should give them permission for? Is that
Well,
something
it's
we
not
do?
being used.
it's good.
well, I
Is there
don't
anything-
think it matters. They probably might like having it there, because when monkey business happens, they might pull it out.
Mhm.
Well, if the hall needs to be used for something, they could, throw it in the kindergarten.
They
for
can
an
just
evening
put it
thing, right,
somewhere
or
for-
somewhere.
Yeah, tuck it into there.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to pass a motion for that? I guess.
Sure, okay, I'll pass a motion, I guess, we can use the hall until they
And then we'll have to let
receive their sea cam.
the hall board know that we've done that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
All right.
alrighty, I think that covers it then, eh?
Okay, all in favor?
Yo.
Okay.
Dark
It's getting
hole is
dark
something.
now.
Yeah, it did. Okay,
I was trying to save us some money, you know.
yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Do you want me to turn it off
No,
again?
that's fine. It's starting
Below
to
the
get
tree
dark.
line.
Okay, well, committee and staff reports. Mayor Shantz did not attend any meetings.
Oh, my goodness.
Did I?
I not that I know of.
Rosella.
On September 14th, I attended the Youth Foundation meeting. And their summer program seems to have been quite successful, although it only ran 2 days a week. But they had a limit of 8 children per day, and they had between 6 and 8 each of those days that they were open. And they're still looking for a program facilitator, and they're looking at perhaps offering a hiring bonus, but they haven't worked out all the details yet. And then Angela, in the meantime, is offering some online programming. And then this morning, September 16th, I attended a Zoom meeting for Parkland Regional Library. And I guess the things that came out of that is there's no budget increase requisition. It will remain at $8.55 as it has for the last couple of years.
Mhm.
And in November, they're hoping that their organizational meeting will be in person. They just feel that it would make it so much easier for people to actually see
Oh,
each other
it would.
as they do that. So that was it, really.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Rosella. Rob is away and
I have no meetings.
Darren. Okay, thank you. And the staff reports, the foreman report, the foreman is absent, so we do not have a report.
Well, I just have a.
Or
quick
do you have a little bit of an
verbal-
update?
Verbal, basically staff have been working in the arena to get the ice installed.
Right.
And our new staff started September 1st. Her name is Lindy Black. And so far has been very excited about making ice and participating at the arena.
Good.
So I encourage you to stop or catch her sometime and welcome her to the
Yes.
team. And yeah, they've just been making ice and then, of course, maintaining infrastructure activities, doing their rounds and whatnot. And that's basically as far as I'm aware anyway.
No more problems with the plants or anything down there.
Got the free on it.
They got the brine leak fixed
Brine
and had
leak.
to order more calcium something or other.
Something.
I don't want to get the wrong chemical.
Yeah,
But anyway, they use it to make the brine for one of their compressors. And then they powered up the system with Freon. And this year we handled the system a bit differently, where at the beginning of the season, they took and pumped out all of the Freon out of the system and stored it in canisters so that we don't lose or have it leak over the
okay.
season.
yeah.
So as far as I'm aware, I don't think we needed to top it up much or anything. And everything seems to have pressured up well. And the basically functional, working fine, cooling nicely, building ice as we go. And Monday, I believe we're scheduled to put lines on and stuff.
Wow.
Get
It just
cracking.
doesn't seem like it's the right time to do it.
No, summer shouldn't be over yet.
No, that's right.
Yeah, and we have actually hired a new public works foreman. They will be starting October 4th.
Very good.
His name is Patrick Taylor.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I guess Murray is on vacation for for all of this week, and he'll be back next week, we're anticipating, barring anything unforeseen.
Very good. Wow, very good.
Yeah,
So let's just cross the fingers that we're not putting this in for nothing this year.
that were what?
Not putting
Not
this in
putting
for
nice
nothing.
in for,
Well,
Now the
today,
restrictions, yeah.
today with the restrictions just being implemented and
Yeah,
stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
Staff did call me and say, hey, are we putting ice in? And I'm like, full steam ahead. Because like right now with the way the restrictions are worded and everything, we're gonna open up the facility and function. And we're basically putting the responsibility on the users within their user groups to implement the restrictions.
Yeah.
To their comfort level and satisfaction.
that's how it should be.
And yeah, just because we need to use our facility,
Mhm.
because facilities age and stop working
Oh.
if you don't use them, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but barring anything unforeseen or additional restrictions as per our Alberta province, we will see.
We will see.
And I believe the curling rink is planning to put ice in as well, but I think they start a couple weeks from now,
Yeah,
so,
I think he's gonna help tomorrow, actually.
what's that?
I think he's helping tomorrow to learn how to do the painting, or
Oh, okay,
Peter was gonna show him something about
the white,
the white.
okay,
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
I believe.
So
Great.
much more goes into the operation of the arena and the curling rink that is visible to,
Mhm.
oh, yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the residents
Mhm.
type of thing,
Yeah.
and even council. It's like a
Well,
learning
even
experience.
myself, you know,
Yeah.
and like with having new staff learning the ropes over there and whatnot,
Yes.
and
Yes,
they're really motivated to
yeah,
learn
awesome.
everything and
And I
Yeah.
think you're wise to just go full steam ahead, because hopefully this whole virus thing will settle down a little bit again. And you can't just make ice on a day's notice
No,
sort of thing, you
no.
know, so
No.
you can roll it out at least and see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Very good.
Well, and just to be fair to our users too, right?
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
really want to use the facility.
Mhm.
Sure.
And I did receive one call today from Fun Hockey and they were really concerned, and I just said that, you know, we need to use a facility and it doesn't serve us to just stop making ice and stop repairing. Right?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
you know, if we can implement with whatever restrictions,
And they don't have
The
to use it if
province.
they're worried about it.
yeah.
Well, and that's the thing.
Well,
isn't
and
it?
it
Yeah.
is back to user
Mhm.
risk,
That's
and
right.
not
Mhm.
much different than slipping on the ice, right?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm. Yeah,
but,
that
yeah,
is correct. Yeah,
yeah.
good. Well, that's very positive. Thank you, Teresa. Now you have your report.
Mine doesn't have a ton. I was like
Well,
looking
it's
at it
maybe it's
going,
about time that you didn't have 2 full pages.
You're like, whoo, I had plans that we'd be done by 7 o'clock or setting records on the shortest meeting tonight.
Yes.
But yeah, so action list items from last meeting. Just an email was sent as per the privatization of land titles, personal property and corporate registries. The ACOS franchise fee, also sent them a quick email saying council wanted to stay the same. The community hall board, the approval letter for their Hall of Fame sign, and the vacant lots pricing. I've been in touch with Ramstad Realty and provided with information about the lots and what we had priced them on, and
Okay.
he'll basically be getting back to me with more information. Outstanding from prior meetings, our good old regional flush truck agreement. So with sending out an email, the other parties being Roseland and Balf, they basically said we might as well wait until new councils are in place. Balf in the past was kind of facing a viability review and
Yeah.
really were doubtful if they were continuing. But with a new council in, they're not really sure.
Mhm.
So I guess
Okay.
we'll see how things
Mhm.
shake out. Roseland continues to be very interested in continuing and, you know, even funding for a new truck, because we are at that point where we need to give
Mhm.
serious consideration to purchasing a new truck. You know, whether it be a smaller unit or whatever we can afford and stuff, right? But I guess that's another dialogue for another day. September 8th did interviews for the foreman position. Day-to-day, working on the regional assessment review board bylaw and additional map review in the last council meeting, I guess I forgot to mention, I did not have a map review report, just because I've been working on some bylaws that are part of that,
Mhm.
so. Various development letters, compliance certificates, credit application for arena supplies, and creating interview questions and reference checks, and completing the reference checks and hiring letters and packages, and emailing out arena user agreements, land research inquiries. The other party that was not the successful purchaser of the lot has been in touch with me, is looking to do other options for properties and stuff and whatnot, so
Okay.
we're working on some solutions.
Good, good.
Arrangements for staff for training on the arena blackline unit, telephone walk-in inquiries, and our foreman is on vacation from September 9th to 21st. That's about it.
Is that
What's the
all?
black line unit?
We have actually, it's a combination, personal safety device, but it also measures carbon monoxide.
Perfect.
And so this unit can be, well, we purchased it so that staff can work alone safely at the arena.
Yeah.
So even though they're not alone there the whole time, they're technically by Alberta employment standards working alone. So this unit actually has a direct dispatch. So if they sit still for too long, it'll talk to them and say, hey, are you okay? Or if they jump off the unit while wearing it, you know, the alarm might go off and say, hey, have you fallen? Are you okay?
Oh.
Or it
my
also
gosh.
has a record feature where they can push a button on it. So if they have an issue where it could be a potential altercation,
Okay.
they can just quietly push the button on it and it will record the interactions.
Oh, my goodness.
So, and then it's set up so that if they don't report in, like they have to report in every 2 hours on this unit,
Oh,
it calls them and says, hey, are you okay? And if they don't respond and stuff, there's a call tree, and then they're like the next notification would be to send the police or ambulance. So,
glad
and
you
it is actually a kind of a neat little unit. It's got a bit of a GPS tracker. So, and it records their activities and like where they are in the building, and also when their check-ins are. And it also record, like it has carbon monoxide sensor on it. So in the past, when we had that gas powered ice edger, was when we first got this unit. And I don't know if I told you this story or not, or maybe you heard about it because we bought a new battery powered gas edger, but they were using this gas edger and the alarm kept tripping off on it. So they're like, what can we set this to so it won't trip off right away? So it was like, well, there's enough carbon monoxide going on that maybe you shouldn't be using that equipment.
yes.
So yeah, we replaced that battery operated edger with gas powered edger with a battery operated one.
Absolutely.
So now hopefully.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat unit.
Wow.
We may look at, I guess, depending on with the new foreman and stuff and whatnot,
Yeah,
it's not terribly cost prohibitive,
yeah.
but just a very helpful unit for, because many times our staff do work alone.
They do.
So-
Sure, and you see them out, on the mower or something,
Yeah.
you never know.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, very good. Thanks for asking, Darren. I just assumed, I don't know what I thought it was.
Yeah, no, I'm glad.
We're gonna have black lines on the ice. Okay, well, thank you very much, Teresa. So can I have someone accept the staff committee and staff reports?
I'll do that.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Okay, and we have a letter.
That was just a retroactive.
Yes, we can accept this as information. Thank you, Karen. All in favor? Great. Okay, so we have our next meeting dates.
Yes, October 7th and then October 21st. First.
Now, is this where we want to determine a date for our evaluation or?
Sure.
Okay,
Do you want to like, yeah, I guess we can pick a date for now and then get back to Rob with it and.
yeah, his email, do you have
Just-
his email, Rosella?
Yeah, I should have it here, just give me a
Yeah.
minute.
Um, And a date, of course, that you are,
Well, and primarily in the past, you guys, well, like we were talking about doing a little
yeah,
final potluck thing
Yeah.
with council kind of thing.
yeah,
And then going into the performance review, and you guys typically review the document on your own in my absence. So that you can
Oh.
chat freely about it.
it won't take long. Sure, so, and it's Darren, yes, you would still be available because you're not, okay, right?
Okay, here's the dates that Rob says he's available.
Okay,
September 21st or 23rd,
okay,
and then the 27th through the 30th.
correct. Okay. Darren,
Oh, them dates, as far as I know, I'm available right to the 30th.
okay,
After that day, I don't know.
okay, and Teresa, you're the,
I can do 21st or 23rd.
okay, maybe we should concentrate on those dates.
Yeah, and actually I'm pretty flexible in the following week as well,
Well,
so.
let's set it.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's
set it.
do that.
Yeah, so the 21st is next Tuesday, so let's go there,
Okay,
and that, yeah, it would have been nice, I know, Teresa, for you to have it on the council meeting night, and then you don't have to, but
It's fine.
yeah, it's,
Okay, so what time do we want to go with?
yeah, now with Rob, I wonder if Rob could get off a bit early, because it would be so nice for
Well,
Teresa.
6 o'clock works fine, but if we do the little potluck thing, you know, then we would be getting together for 5:30-ish.
Yeah,
see if
Well,
Rob can make it for 5.
And then,
yeah, even 5, that's what I was thinking, and then, yeah,
okay, well, then we
Okay.
wanna just try for 5, I
Yeah.
guess. And then, were you guys thinking potluck, or do we wanna just order something simple local?
it's whatever's easier for council, yeah, that's,
And we thought so, yeah.
yeah, that's what we thought at the meat market, some nice.
I can order pizza, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we could order pizza too, you know, that would
Well,
be
you know
easy.
what, we could, and it's hot.
I hadn't thought about that, but sure.
Okay.
Okay, so 5 PM.
Okay.
On the 21st.
Okay.
And somehow or other, somebody will order pizza.
I'll
Yeah,
arrange to do
pizza.
it.
We can do Chinese, lots of rice. Rob hates rice. He does, I know that.
Well,
I
I
had
think I
rice,
still have a gift certificate from way back when from Community Futures for $50. So for Max's, so that might be kind of helpful.
Yeah,
Sure.
Sure, let's.
I
do
don't
it.
know, we'll see if he'll honor it or not. I've had it for a while.
Well, I prefer pizza over Chinese.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
Okay,
And I do have some cinnamon buns that I purchased from the farmer's market, and they're frozen, so
Okay.
they're safely in the freezer. So I'll bring those.
okay,
And I said to Darren, had any special treat that he preferred, I would bring something too.
I'm not much of a sweet thing.
No, okay,
You guys have probably noticed that, I know.
yes, we have, yeah. What about you, Teresa?
you know what, pizza's one of my favorite food groups.
Okay, so,
So.
alrighty, and you, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine with pizza.
Okay,
Great,
that's so 5 PM.
And I
on the
might pull
21st.
out a dessert. We'll see.
okay,
Sure, that's great. In council
Dessert
chambers.
strawberry rhubarb cake would be good or something
Oh,
like
listen to
And
me.
rhubarb cake.
Strawberry
I'm not a
rhubarb.
sweet fan, but I like sour.
Strawberry rhubarb cake, I don't know. I've got lots of rhubarb. Okay, so we'll do
Great.
that.
And well, I'll send Rob okay, that's next week already, so maybe I'll send him a quick email before I leave tonight.
Okay, well, or do you want us to do it?
Whichever,
Oh,
whichever.
I can send him one when I
Okay.
get home.
Okay,
Okay,
that'd be great.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send him and then he'll get it right quick. Was that it then, everybody?
I think so.
Very good. All right,
Ready?
somebody, what, we can't adjourn yet because Rob's not here.
So we're here till- Where's he at? Is he home tomorrow?
Do we have to
Should I
stay?
call
Yeah. Alrighty, well,
Who's gonna be the
we'll let the
alternate Rob?
gentleman do it.
Yes. This
Yes.
Meeting is now what, closed session of? what is
Adjourned?
it?
Well, we're adjourning, because I
We're
don't think we
adjourned.
have any closed session.
Right.
Yeah, we're adjourning.
I can't do it without Rob.
No, we can't.
Alrighty.
Okay,
7:27.
awesome, very good. That was interesting.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a good night.
No problem, you guys too. Teresa, I did send you a couple of emails.
Okay,
Thanks.
is it okay if I get to them on Monday?
Yep, no worries.
Very good. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.